For nearly a century, drivers along Chicago's Arch Avenue have encountered a woman who shouldn't exist. She appears on the darkest stretches of road, always wearing a white dress, always asking for the same destination. And when the car passes Resurrection Cemetery's iron gates, she vanishes without a trace. This is the story of Jerry Pallas, a cab driver who picked up Resurrection Mary in 1977 and lived to tell a tale that would make him a believer in the impossible. Jerry had been driving cabs in Chicago for 15 years, and he thought he'd seen it all. Drunks, criminals, celebrities, lovers, fighters, every type of human story. But nothing prepared him for the night of March 10, 1977, when he picked up a fare outside the old O. Henry Ballroom on Arch Avenue. It was nearly 2 a.m. Light rain misted the streets, creating halos around the street lamps. Jerry had just dropped off his last passenger and was considering calling it a night, when he saw her, a young woman in a white cocktail dress, standing alone on the sidewalk. No coat, no purse, no umbrella. Just standing there in the rain, looking lost. He pulled over. She climbed into the back seat without hesitation, and immediately Jerry felt the temperature inside the cab plummet. His breath became visible. The woman gave him an address on the south side, speaking in a soft, musical voice that seemed to come from far away. Jerry turned up the heat, but the cold only intensified. As they drove down Arch Avenue, Jerry tried making small talk. She responded in short, distant sentences. She'd been dancing, she said, at the ballroom. She needed to get home. Her voice had a strange quality, detached, dreamy, as if she were describing someone else's life. Jerry glanced in the rearview mirror. The woman's dress was damp, clinging to her thin frame. Her blonde hair hung in wet strands. But what disturbed him most were her eyes, empty, unfocused, staring out the window at the passing darkness. Then came the smell. Perfume, old-fashioned and heavy, mixing with something else, something earthy and damp, like freshly turned soil. Jerry's stomach tightened. The radio began to crackle with static despite the clear night. The streetlights seemed to dim as they approached a particular stretch of road. Resurrection Cemetery appeared on the right, acres of graves behind ornate iron gates, monuments casting long shadows in the darkness. Jerry felt an overwhelming urge to drive faster, to get past this place. But then the woman spoke, her voice suddenly sharp and clear. Here. Stop here. Jerry glanced back. The woman was staring at the cemetery gates with an expression he couldn't read, longing, perhaps, or recognition. He slowed the cab. You sure? This is just there. He stopped mid-sentence. The back seat was empty. The door hadn't opened. The locks hadn't clicked. But the woman in white was gone, as if she'd never been there at all. Only the faint scent of old perfume and damp earth remained, along with wet footprints on the floor, matte footprints that seemed to fade, even as Jerry stared at them. Later, Jerry learned the story every Chicago cab driver whispers to rookies. Mary Bregovy, a young woman killed in a car accident near the ballroom in 1934, buried in Resurrection Cemetery in a white dress. Dozens of drivers have reported the same encounter: the woman in white, the freezing cold, the disappearance at the cemetery gates. Some claim to have seen her walking inside the cemetery grounds, her figure glowing faintly in the moonlight. Jerry Pallas never picked up another late-night fare on Arch Avenue. He quit driving cabs altogether within a year, unable to shake the memory of those empty eyes and that impossible cold. The O. Henry Ballroom has long since closed, but on foggy nights, witnesses still report a woman in a white dress standing outside its boarded-up entrance, waiting for a ride that will always end the same way. Resurrection Cemetery's caretakers have stopped being surprised by the reports. They've learned to simply nod and say, "Mary's out again," as if death were just another shift that never ends. The true horror lies not in the ghost's appearance, but in her eternal routine, forever reliving the journey home she never completed, trapped between the dance and the grave.